How do you define a world-class player, and can you describe it to us?
How would I describe a world-class player? Probably I'd say for world-class for me is probably someone that you'd look at that could get in any team in the world, really, I think, and someone that you would genuinely part with your own money to go and watch.
Right,
I think, and someone like you say that can literally get in any team, because I think the term itself, I think, is thrown out far too loosely nowadays with some. I think world-class in itself is probably, there's only a little small pantheon of players that probably sit on that.
Yeah, I think Matt Letizia said the same, actually.
Somebody compared to him.
Yeah, I was going to say, you hear the mark already.
Yeah.
Somebody you pay money to watch, like you just said. Yeah.
Yeah. Is just there a particular time frame you'd say they'd have to be at a certain level for to be called world class?
I think you need to have a certain body of work behind you as well.
Yeah.
I don't think, because again, in this country, we're really good at overhyping players within the space of 2 seconds, and then we're quite happy then to go and chop them off at the knees within about 6 months. So, yeah, I think you need at least probably a year or two's worth, at least probably 2 years worth behind you. But at the same time, within that, if someone's staring you in the face where they've done unbelievable, like, and the stats back it up to a degree, I know the stats can be misleading to a degree as well. However, I think you need a little bit of body of work behind you, but at the same time, then maintaining them levels over and over again. So you'd say it's a sustained period over probably 5-6 years, sort of thing, at least.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Is it easier to rate after a career than during playing days? Could you say, like you said, there's your body of work? Is it easier to
again, I
give out the
suppose
world-class stamp at the end?
To a degree, but at the same time, the game's always changing. Everything's evolving, and what you're judging by world class in this day and age might be what your class world class years gone by. And that's why I think it's always difficult to compare players from this era to the previous era and stuff, because technology's changed, what they've got to do, the speed of the game, everything like that. So I think you almost just got to have an appreciation for players in the moment, really, rather than looking back. Because equally, on the flip side, you could say people were overhyped later on in life than what they actually probably did at the time, because like you say, they may be a name that sticks in your head because they might have done media career after, and then you may know about them more during the time. So I think it's important you judge them at the time, really, but still have an appreciation after as well, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely. What about some of the players playing today in the Premier League? Any that stand out to you as world class right now?
I think in terms of world class ones, I think you've got to look at someone like De Bruyne. Probably would be him. Bernardo Silva, you could argue. Again, probably you'd say maybe Alisson in goal then for Liverpool.
Yeah.
You could argue Van Dijk as well to a certain extent. I think beyond that, that's, if I'm brutally honest, I'd say that's probably.
What about right back area? There's a few good English ones, Trent and Kyle Walker. Do you think any of those have hit world class levels?
I think both are very, very good in their own way. For me, Kyle Walker's probably better in terms of a defender, because I think as we've seen now, Trent's moving into a different sort of narrative of how he's getting it described now and how he's sort of playing. But I think Kyle Walker's the best right back we've got by a long way at the minute, if I'm honest.
Do you think Walker, again, looking at Premier League era completely, Gary Neville gets talked about as sometimes the best, well, mostly actually the best right back we've seen Premier League era? Would you agree with that? Or do you think Kyle Walker is maybe... Yeah,
again, I think... The thing that Kyle Walker's probably had different to what Gary Neville had is a right back was deemed as just a right back, defend, stay behind, touch, cross. Whereas now I think you're expected to be a right winger, a right back, centre midfielder, centre half, right centre half. So I think it's changed a lot in that respect. So you probably maybe are technically better, but if you were to ask me define your perfect right back per se, then you'd still say Gary Neville's up there. But I would say, as in the conversation nowadays, Kyle Walker's doing as good a job as anyone.